back to the Smart Woman Show. This is Tara Oldridge, and it's funny, I'm like hesitant to even do my formalities because I just had James Altucher on the show, and he's like, don't be so formal, like don't edit, like don't, like don't go over the top. And so, and this is a really great learning curve for me in this summit, is to like really step into my vulnerability and my authenticity, and like not always have to be this promoter, right? Like before, because for the woman watching, I've done like 24 interviews, and I'm still scheduling interviews. Like I just scheduled Jarek Robbins to be on the show, and like I'm not willing to let go of the momentum of the show. So, but I am learning as I go through this, like how to be an amazing host, how to be real, how to connect, because the whole point is to connect with the audience.
Right.
But the show's not about me, and it's really not about the expert even, and it's really about the woman watching this. And so I kind of want to like ease myself out of the formality intro to this. So this is Pirie, everyone. And you recognize her. I'm sure you're looking at your screen right now. You're like, how do I know her? And she's a former TV host. And so you recognize her from the E! Network, Entertainment Television, probably Fox TV, NBC, CBS, ABC. I mean, now she's a life empowerment coach, which is where her heart is. But I want to welcome you anyways.
Thank you, sweetie. I've been so looking forward to this interview. Love the topic. I love talking about empowering women and smart women. And I love that you had some men on too. That was awesome.
Well, and it's so funny that you say that, because I was actually looking at one of the summits that you're involved in right now. And what is it? What is that summit that you have posted on your Instagram right now?
With Olga about the summit, or the one I just did in Santa Barbara. I'm not sure, one of them, but
yeah. Anyways, it's on your Instagram, so if you want, you can go to her Instagram. It's listed down here. But it was talking about feminine energy and masculine energy, and really the importance and the integral role that both of them play in this life, and that we get to embody both energies. And that's not what this topic is about, but I love that you brought that up. So thank you.
Definitely.
But it's funny because, okay, so this actually leads us in really nicely, because as female energy, we tend to really access our emotions. Yes. Am I right?
Yes.
So what I've been coached on, because I am an emotional female, is Tara, you are not your emotions.
Yes.
So I'd love for you to dive in on that.
I like to say there's three different aspects of us. There's the mental, there's the emotional, and then there's the spiritual. Mm-hmm. And I find that we get into trouble when we just let our heart lead, because we get into some of these emotions that could be low-grade emotions, such as fear, anxiety, all those things, rather than love and security and all these fabulous positive things. Or we could lead with our minds, which is just all about the thinking. And so we forget about the heart. But when we really let our souls lead, and the soul is the one that is really the integrative central point between the mental and the hearts, because it's our soul purpose, right? It's our soul really wants what's best for us. And if we let that happen, then we're in pretty good shape. Then we're not kind of out of balance like we can be with the heart and the mind.
I was just talking to my dad last night on the phone about the soul. And I said, Dad, it's like that. I was trying to ask him, like, that part in our bodies that is God. And he's like, the soul? I'm like, yes.
Right. Right. Soul or spirit. And it's, I even have clients that are not, when they say religious, they go, Pirie, I'm not religious. It's like, we're not talking about religion.
No, I'm not.
Spirituality, which all of us have a soul and a spirit. I mean, when you go to a funeral, you see a body. Clearly that person is not there, right?
Yeah.
Just the body. So the spirit continues living on, and that's the most powerful force. And that's how we connect. When I connect with you, it's like, I'm not just connecting with your personality or your beauty or all the energy. I'm connecting with your soul. So soul that we get to do, which is really fun.
And I love how that's becoming a common thread, because even though, this is a really like educational even summit for a lot of women, we're creating a sisterhood.
Yes.
We're creating a sisterhood here, and it's really magical. So if we're not our emotions, then how do we get to, how do we get to manage these things? And like, how do we get through the fear, the anxiety, the self-sabotage, the I don't think I can, the drama, the victim, all of it? How do we get through it?
Well, there's a key word: resiliency. We all have the ability, and it's in us, but it's how do we bring it out and how do we encourage it? Because that is the one skill that is going to help you, get out of these negative emotions, get out of this negative self-talk that we do sabotage ourselves. And, it's the ability to get out of challenging situations much quicker, right? Instead of like letting my mom, trigger me. And so I hang on to that and I see that I'm upset and there's like a month has gone by. And the very things that are really important in my life are not being taken care of because I'm too busy living in the emotional baggage and the low grade emotions, right? And so you want to always keep yourself balanced. And I just had someone ask me this morning, it was really funny. He says, well, Pirie, how do I know what my intuition is saying? How do I know what my inner voice is saying, which is the soul voice? And it's like, it's always something positive. The universe is conspiring for us, for you. And we and our souls are really conspiring for us also. So resiliency is a big key that I know a lot of things in my life have been challenging, and some people can say, yeah, but you've had a pretty nice life. I have. But I'll tell you what, it was not easy. I worked for it. I had resilience. I've been in the ashes. Believe me, I've probably been in the ashes about 9 or 10 times in my life. Yeah. And I've learned through resiliency how to come back and recreate the phoenix that I am. And remembering who we are, especially we as women, because we can be so controlling and mean to ourselves and, say things in our own heads and our own hearts that we would never say to another human being or friend. So I have some steps. If you guys want to go up, I'm such a teacher.
Okay, let us get our notepads out. Hang on.
Get your notepads out, class.
Notepads out. We do. We like steps, don't we, ladies? Okay. So
I know. So how do we build resilience? Okay, and as I said, it's the ability to cope with stress. Number 1, accept your imperfections. Okay. Women want perfection, right? We want to look perfectly. We want to do everything perfectly, raise our kids perfectly. And the reality is we're not perfect. We're messy. But how cool is that? Because that's what really defines us from each other, right?
Yeah.
So if you make mistakes and you're going to make mistakes, celebrate them. I know you're probably going, what? Aren't we supposed to celebrate, our successes? No, not just that. Celebrate the failures that you did because you had an opportunity to get out of your comfort box and you did it. So celebrate that. That's number 1. All right. Number 2, schedule some alone time. And this, I'm going to talk about the importance of ritual, and particularly in the morning, ladies, before we get up and we start serving everybody else, right? This is our time because as things come into us, into our lives during the day, we need to make sure our foundation is strong.
Okay, Pirie, can you help me? Because can you try? I'm sorry. I'm just going to take advantage that I have a life empowerment. Ladies, forgive me. This is going to be some personal coaching here because
I love it.
I desperately want to do a morning ritual.
Yes.
I really want this. And some days I do. Some days I do. Sometimes, some days I have my devotional, my abundance devotional that I've decided that this is going to be my morning ritual because it's different for everyone. And some days I get to. Somehow I've sourced it being lost. I've lost the devotional book. I have no idea where it is right now. So, but that's a good thing for me to look at. So, but and I hope someone else feels this way, but it's I really, truly feel like I don't have time for this morning ritual.
Okay. So that comes into the act of self-love. So what you're really telling me is that you don't feel like you deserve to have that time for yourself. That's underneath the excuses. And I'm saying that because I live it, Tara, every day. I see, my clients live it. So you've got to decide right now, am I worth the time? Am I worth that time for self-love? And once you start saying yes to that kind of self-love, you're going to start saying yes to other things that are really important in your day, to day, instead of all this busy work. So if you set the time, the ritual for it, whether it's a prayer, whether it's a meditation, whether it's a simple, you don't have to sit up and and the whole thing. I sometimes just lay in bed and I say a quick prayer. And I just ask for, I'm a faith girl, so I ask for God's assistance and helping me as I go out through my day, to be the best mom I can be for my kids. How can I show up for for my friends, how can I show up for me? And how can I show up to be a great vessel, to the world? So if you say, I don't have time, what you're saying is that I don't have time, nor will I make time for me. So that's a bigger conversation. So remember, every time you say yes to that ritual in the morning, you're saying yes to you. Does that help?
Thank you.
I know, it's tough, but it's so important, All right, the next step, here we go. The third one. This is an old and tired one, I'm sure, but it's really true, and that's to unplug from technology. And I'll tell you what, even if you just do it for an hour or 2 hours a day, I don't know about you guys, but do you have this on your phone system where it tells you how many hours of the day, right? And I saw one day, I've been online researching all this stuff for 8 hours. I couldn't believe it. And I thought, have I even gone outside yet? Have I even taken some downtime? Because when you can unplug from technology, you're plugging into your own intuition. What is it that I want? What is it that's important in my life? You're not going to get that by keeping your head in the technology. You get it when you get it out and you look around and you get in nature. It's like, that's an important step. Another one, exercise. I know we've heard this, but I'll tell you, if you get caught up and you feel like you're in a rut, if you do a change physically and go outside, take a walk, connect with nature, it's going to shift you physically.
So is that exercise outside, or is that like nature exercise, or is that getting in the gym?
You can do the gym, but I'm a big believer in nature, Tara, and of course I live in Sun Valley, Idaho, so
yeah.
But being outside and being in nature is so important. It really is important, to get vitamin D in your between 10 and 2, where you can really get a healthy circadian, right?
Yeah.
Getting outside just helps you breathe a little bit more.
I love it.
There's a great quote. It says, it's important to be outside unless you're busy. It's important to be outside for at least an hour, or at least 20 minutes a day. Unless you're, then you need to be out there for an hour. Right?
Okay.
It's just a connection.
So if you have did you hear that, ladies? She said, if you are busy, then you need more. Not you get to be less. Like, you need more.
You need more.
Yeah.
And that's that taking that time, and that's that big act of self-love when you say yes to you. And sometimes just going outside and looking at a tree, especially now in the springtime, buds coming out and rebirth and regrowth, that's us, right? We match nature. And so it's important to remember that we're part of that. That's real. The technology isn't.
Wow. Thank you for saying that.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it any, but I make my kids do it. Another important step that I know a lot of people have issues with is sleep, is getting enough sleep. And this was something, I heard Shanda do, because I was thinking, I don't have enough time in my day. And she's like, well, what time do you go to bed? Well, I go to bed about midnight. Well, then you probably need more sleep, and you're not going to wake up till 7 and 8, a.m. But for me to do some of the things that were important to me, I made myself go to bed earlier.
Okay, so what time do you go to bed?
I go to bed, you're going to laugh, 8:30. I'm in bed 8:30. I'm reading. I might be watching a little bit of a TV show. I might be binging on a Billions show.
Oh my gosh, I love that show.
Oh my God, I'm so obsessed. But I lights out 9:30.
Wow.
Lights out 9:30. But I just, it was important. Then I started getting up at 6. Then I had more energy. Some people ask me, some of my clients too, if they have problems sleeping, and if you've ever have an opportunity to utilize brain optimization, which is a cool technique, or brain spotting, it does help here.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
Brain optimization, it's like electric currents. And I have a friend of mine that is amazing with it. And you're actually wearing a piece of, it's connected to a computer and it has electrodes, and it's like a mirror. One side of your brain is a mirror to the other side. And so it self-heals. So she can see areas on the computer that if your frontal lobe is really congested, that we need to break up, put that energy and it breaks it up. If the side lobes are really congested.
I want this in my life.
Oh, it's amazing. Brain optimization. You could probably Google it and see if, who's around.
Cool.
But
okay.
Celine is my gal, and she's in Calabasas in California, and it's amazing. Helped me with sleep a lot.
Wow. Okay.
This is another important one for us as women too, is to choose who our friends are carefully. As we're growing in our lives, in different decades of our lives, we have different desires and wishes, but when we're growing on a soulful level, make sure that the friends you have around you support you. They're not toxic, or if they're always talking negatively and you try to, help them and move them into a positive thing, but if they just can't do it, really consider what's going on around you in your life and who's around you and how do they make you feel. That's another quote Maya Angelou talked about. So people will forget what you said, people will forget where you were, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Yeah.
So I think that's an important energy course correction for women is looking out for the people around them. Another one that I love is laughter. Oh my gosh, especially we take everything so freaking, serious. And you know how much fun it is when we have our girl tribe and we get together, and what do? Probably drink a little too much wine and we're just laughing, right? And we're sharing, and we're not talking about, oh my God, how great I was, or you can laugh at yourself, laugh with them, support each other, connect.
This is a big one for me. It's a big one for me because I'm so committed to my vision.
Right.
But it's like, what does that even mean if you don't enjoy creating it?
Right. Well, you know what? I have a little trick for you, because I'm the same way, and I was doing that. A lot of my friends were yelling at me like, you never come out and play anymore. And I thought, you know what? I realized that I learned a lot about some of the things that I could teach from my girlfriends.
Yeah.
Right? And I could also share with them, because I had a problem asking for help. Because they'd come to me and say, well, you're supposed to know everything. But it was like, no, I don't. And I need to learn from you. And they were like, oh. So asking for help is, I know, a difficult step for women particularly to do. But
so I would love to can I expand on that? Because I'm wondering, I know that you and I've both done that personality quadrant test. Are you a supporter?
Yes.
Okay. So this is great because I'm a controller. Okay. So for those of you watching who have no idea what I'm talking about right now, essentially Pirie and I are on the direct opposite spectrum of like asking for help and just like being help. So for Pirie, she is, well, maybe I'll let you speak to you and then and then I'll speak for me. Like I'm a controller. So I'm just like wanting to fix everything all the time. I'm like offering solutions all the time. And I'm just like, bam, 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 bam. And I like really don't have a lot of time, or I didn't in the past, for conversations that took longer than 5 minutes.
I know.
And I really have taken the opportunity to soften my heart, to open up to being more supportive.
And when that starts the most, and you won't even have to try, you give it to yourself. So what the time thing, which, is a common theme I'm hearing from you. So spending that time on you and making that the most important is going to help you to soften up. It's going to help you to going to help you to, because sometimes we move so fast, because I've been that way too. Move so fast, we forget, we don't see the magic that's going around us, and getting us from point A to point B. But when we slow down, and when we go outside, and when we exercise, and we're building up all this resilience in us, so that when we really need it, we're stocked up, right?
Girl, you're like a mama bear to me right now. Like you are just giving me a giant hug through the screen, because this is exactly what, like this episode, if it's not touching any of you, it's touched me. So I don't even care. So, but like, I want to just go back to the supporter, because it's so important as a supporter to be super concise with what you need.
Yes. And to ask. And to ask. And that's what we tend to do as women. Oh, I can handle this. I can handle this. I got to handle it anyway. It's going to take us more time if I ask this person to do it. He's probably not going to do it right anyway. So I'm just going to do it myself, and then boom, right?
Yeah.
And then pretty soon, where we're up for 20 hours a day and we're so stressed out and we're yelling, why is nobody helping me? I have to do everything?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You did it.
Yeah.
Nobody else appointed you that. The reality is you did it. You sanctioned yourself as the person to handle and do everything for everybody.
Yeah.
That's that perfectionism part again I talked about. You know, when you can let go of that and you can start flowing and dancing more, you know, and just letting your life seep in and just saying, hey, I embrace my beauty and my messiness and my shadow side, and God, you're so much more fun to be to hang out with.
Yeah.
That's how we are. Another one this is a big one, and I'll share a personal story. And I know we've talked about this. And I love the girl tribe. What we start talking about in the beginning. I love the girl tribe, and I have such an amazing girl tribe. But something else that I found that we do, not only as women but men too, is that we tend to hold on to some secrets. Mm-hmm. And we think they're little ones, maybe they're big ones, or, you know, if anybody finds out, oh my God, they're going to think I'm a fraud. They're going to think so much less of me. They're going to hate me. I'm not going to be part of that group anymore. You know, it's that fear. But the reality is those secrets live within our bodies. They live in our minds. They live in our sinews. They live in the blood. They're always there. So whenever we walk into a room, we're carrying them with us. Mm-hmm. And people are perceptive. Most people are intuitive, and they'll start, yeah, I really like, but I don't know, there's this thing that's off a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. I can pretty much guarantee you it's a secret. And I had a huge secret because and by the way, ladies, I'm talking about this stuff because I've been through it. I went through the ringer, and these are steps that helped me, which is what I'm sharing with you. But 25 years ago, I was married to a movie producer, did Pretty Woman, and we lived in LA, had a spectacular life, and we wanted to have a child. And through various surrogates and all that, no one could get pregnant. And I was in and out of the hospital. I was in a coma. I mean, talk about trying to be something and willing it and going against my body, almost killed myself. And finally, my husband came to me and said, I need you to stop, you know, and he had a daughter. He said, I need Danielle and I to be enough for you. But I had a dream, and I knew I was supposed to be a mom. And I asked him, I said, can we adopt? And he said, no. So it immediately became a situation where what I wanted and needed and dreamed was not going to be a possibility. So I looked at him and I said, well, I'll give it up, you know. And he came home one day after coming up to Sun Valley for a couple of days and kind of left me at home after I got out of the hospital and said, I want a divorce. Because this marriage is over. I'm tired of you trying to have a kid. And I'm going to drop the divorce papers tomorrow. I mean, no, it was that swift and cold man that I adored. And we had the most amazing love relationship. Wow. So I was in our media room, and I had about, oh God, there's about 12, 15 bottles of medications, pain pills, sleeping pills, you know, every kind of pill imagine. And I was in such a dark place because my marriage evidently was just over like that. I believed I wasn't going to have a child. Here I was, 40 years old. I got to restart. And I didn't see a way out. So this little faith girl who believed in God lost all hope because I lost my connection to God. And I took over 300 pills. And I just laid down on the sofa, and I literally said the Lord's Prayer. You know, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. And I woke up somehow in our bedroom, and I was throwing up violently, and my husband was there, and all of a sudden I see these lights and people talking, and it was the EMTs. And they rushed me to the hospital. And for a couple of days, I didn't know what was happening. And when I woke up, I was surprised I was still here. And during the night I guess that was the night that I was coming out of coma, I went into a coma again. There was this night nurse, and she was in kind of like this rocking chair next to me. And she took my hand, and I looked at her and I said, "Why am I still here? Why am I still here?" She goes, "Because God's not done with you yet, honey." And she started, rocking chair and holding my hand, and she started singing these, beautiful hymns. And I somehow, in that exchange, I remembered who I was. And I really did believe that God had more work for me to do. And so something clicked, and I wanted to live again. And I remembered my faith inside me. I remembered the God inside of me, in my relationship with the Lord. So I woke up, and my doctor came in and he said, "Wow, you've got some life and you're looking good." And I said, "I really want you to thank that night nurse." And he says, "Well, which one was it?" And I said, "Well, she's a Black nurse, and she's part larger than most." And so he came in with this little tiny blonde, and he said, "Well, this was your night nurse." And I said, No. And I looked over at the chair that was the rocking chair. Of course, it wasn't a rocking chair. And I looked over there, and I realized it was like an angel unaware, and I know it sounds woo-woo, Tara, but it was my truth. It was the power of faith. And from that moment, I, came home. I went to Texas for a while. I decided to move to Sun Valley, Idaho, and just recreate my life, which, by the way, I did meet someone really fabulous. There's a baby daddy. I had 2 amazing kids that I had myself in my mid-40s. And, I didn't lose my dream. But I'm sharing this story because I know there's a lot of people out there struggling with some emotional depression and some secrets and some things that are ruling them. And you think that if people found out, that they would judge you and say bad things, but that's not the truth. What's more important is for you to have authenticity and be free, because those secrets actually can turn into blessings. And so now I'm sharing my story on stages all over, which was my biggest secret, but it was the biggest key to my healing. So don't be afraid of those secrets, and how insignificant they are. Remember, you think that you're hiding them and they're not ruling you, but they are. They're still there. I almost felt like I was on my preach box. Oh.
I am so inspired by you. This is my favorite interview.
Oh, you're sweet. Thank you.
And Pirie, that's not the first time I heard you share that story at Zone. And I was living it with you then, and I was living it with you now. And for the women watching, if that is you today, Pirie and I are here for you. So whatever it takes, we're going to drop emails or whatever contact information. You reach out to us.
Yes. And I think I told you too, there's a right way and a mindful way of releasing secrets. And I put together just like a 4 or 5 page ebook for people to get started, because it gives you some rules and some techniques and some things about how to do it mindfully. There is a practice.
Yeah, we're going to drop her free ebook link down here. Oh, wait, I have it. I switched.
And then I had another surprise.
You do?
Oh, I do. I have another gift. I've been really feeling generous. So I create, I love quotes. And if you go on my social media, I'm always doing quotes, and, I'm asking my girlfriends to send me quotes. So I thought, how cool would it be to put together like a 30-day calendar of resiliency quotes?
Oh, yeah.
Really cool things. So I had pictures of Sun Valley around here, and I matched the quotes to the pictures. And it's just something for you to start your ritual, all right, in the morning, is even if you just wake up and just read a quote. Say a prayer of intention. that could go something like this, Spirit, I'm just asking for your assistance today, that I show up in the best way I can be, help others and serve others in their highest good.
And I think that's where I get caught up with the morning routine thing. It's like, it doesn't have to be an hour.
No.
And it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't have to be a meditation and like a rocking back and forth and an om and like, it can be a prayer.
Yes. And I changed mine up. I mean, there's times that maybe I needed to get out the door a little earlier. So I'll do a quick intentional prayer. But if I'm out on a walk or am I out on a hike or something, you can use that too, going out in nature. Listening to a podcast in the morning if you have some extra time, an uplifting podcast. Even just sending yourself some love. And I don't mean it. It's so funny when you talk about self-love. So many people go, that sounds like it's really, you're really you're stuck on yourself and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Self-love is healthy. And you become a much softer person, a better person, because when you're soft and beautiful with yourself, then you're going to put that out in the world and you're going to react that way in the world. You're going to bring that part of yourself to the world.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to see.
Yeah. Step 9.
All right. This is the other one that's important that people forget about. Diet. Okay. Sugar's a killer, folks. I mean, I don't know if some of you may have seen me before on a summit series I did about how to heal autoimmune diseases without using meds. And I had a terrible 40-year Diet Coke habit. And
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke.
Oh my gosh. I know. That's where Phil, my fiance, when I met him, I was like, I can't be with you if you're going to be addicted to Diet Coke. Like, it's a hard no for me.
It's and I'll tell you, it's one of the hardest things to get over. I mean, it's as tough as nicotine. The aspartame is unreal. But when I got sick, I needed to do whatever I needed to do to have some self-healing. So that was the first thing that went, and it got substituted with celery juice, right? I had to I had to become gluten-free. Wheat, I started realizing I was getting bloated. I was, I just wasn't feeling great.
Yeah.
So I needed to go back to a super simple and clean diet. And, a lot of you guys, I know we go to food for comfort food, we think, right? So we go, oh, I just want that chocolate right now to help me feel better. I want some pasta, or I want a big thing of potatoes with butter and the blah, blah, blah. That's not the way to go. That doesn't help you build resiliency. Keeping your body in tune and doing the exercise and eating well. Wow, that just, helps you put a foot forward than just doing nothing and being a sloth and sitting in front of the TV on the sofa.
Yeah.
Right? Crap.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last one that I had, I talked about it a little bit too, is I really have a practice of listening to uplifting podcasts or like your shows. Those are important. Those are times to take that hour, for yourself. And music, quotes, reading something that's really uplifting and that's going to move your spirit in a positive way instead of a low-grade way. So I look for things like that. It's important. And we like to learn from other people. So that helps. That's my list.
Well, wow. Okay. Wow. And then you're going to give me the link. I didn't know you were giving this. The link to the quotes. Yes. I'll put that down here as well.
Yes.
And, I just really encourage you. I mean, you saw what she did for me in this 30 minutes that we've been chatting. I really encourage you to stay connected with this beautiful, powerful, confident, loving woman, because I know I am. So thank you so much, Pirie, for being on the Smart Woman Show. You have meant a lot to me during this process, and so I'll forever be thankful for you.
Likewise, sweetie. I love the work you're doing and uplifting women and uplifting people, which is all what we're about. And so thank you for the opportunity. And it's nice talking to all of you guys.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, see you guys.
All right, see ya. Bye.
Oh.